Marvel Tokon has already revealed a couple of new things about the game, seemingly including things like major changes to gameplay mechanics, extensive looks at Ghost Rider and Spider-Man gameplay, and of course their new stage called Savage Land. And on top of all of this, we have a just announced developer stage presentation and exhibition match that will be shown off tomorrow. We'll be covering all those details, where to watch it, and what to expect from the stage presence as well. But before we get into that fully, make sure to show off your hype for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls by scrolling down and hitting those like and subscribe buttons to help us reach our like goal of 25 likes on this video, and so you don't miss out on any Marvel Tokon news as it comes out. Also, consider becoming a member of the channel to be listed and have your approved and chosen images shown at the end of videos, just like this one. Now, without further ado, let's get into the brand new Marvel Tokon information. First things first, let's cover the new details of the build being shown at Tokyo Game Show. Going into TGS, we already knew we were getting a new build for the game, with the primary new thing being the addition of Spider-Man and Ghost Rider being full-on playable characters. Well, not only are they playable now, but we also got some seemingly hidden changes to gameplay and can already see their alternate colorways to boot. First, let's touch on the gameplay changes. Notably, as of right now, there are two major things that I've personally noticed, being that tagging seems to be way less restrictive and free-flowing. What I mean by that is tagging had certain windows in the closed beta, where you were able to go ahead and actually perform the tag. Usually being a raw tag before anything actually happened from the assist, or a delayed tag, which would be available during the outro animation of your tag's assist that was used. Also, the amount of time you had to hold the tag button felt relatively long in my opinion. But now, the tag seems to happen a bit faster or with less of a hold time from the tag button, all the way from their entrance to mid-move or after their exit animation commences. This theoretically should make tags feel smoother, be less predictable in their timings, and also allow for you to follow up for combos through their tag system all the more easier. This to me looks like a fantastic change, and something that I briefly mentioned in my review of the beta. I'm glad that they are already proving to actually be trying to change and improve things about the game, instead of just getting all this feedback from everyone and sitting on it and doing nothing. Another major change coming to this build is it seems that the stage transitions or hard wall splats against the wall, when you're at the edge of the stage that has no further transitions, allows you to, once you've unlocked your full team of assists, now still gain something from them even when you have your full team. So now, instead of just benefiting from this action early on until your team is fully assembled, you now get something no matter what round you're in a match. Which again, in my opinion, is a great addition, and incentivizes still mixing this gameplay function in when possible, especially if you're running low on the assemble meter at the time. Those were the only gameplay changes that have been reported and that I was able to pick out. So next, let's move on to the new playable characters. Spider-Man and Ghost Rider in this build are, of course, now fully playable in this build, and with it, we get to see their movesets and special passives that come along with them. Spider-Man in particular gets extra mobility with web zips. That allows him to pull himself towards the direction you choose for the web to hit. You're able to change the type of movement as well with an extra input, and if you hit an enemy with this ability, it lands with a kick, that with further extra inputs from there, will do the move inspired by the Sony Spider-Man game, where he gets them in webbing and slams them to the ground. Overall, Spider-Man so far looks like a Miss Marvel type of character with fast gameplay, crazy mix-ups, and great mobility. Some cool things to point out about him is that his alternate colorway is the symbiote version of his Spider-Man suit. Arguably one of his most popular alternate suits ever, and it's coming in day one, along with his ultimate grabbing different things around him depending on the stage he's on. As when he's in the New York stage, you can see things like a hot dog stand being thrown at his opponent, But while in the Savage Land stage, we see things like a giant dinosaur skull in the mix instead. Basically, having his ultimate be a sort of Moon Knight inspiration of random bullshit go, which I think is hilarious. But also is just an overall nice touch to keep the move consistent with things reflecting the stage you're playing on. Speaking of which, let's get into the new stage itself. The stage itself is called Savage Land, taking us back to prehistoric times, at least that's what it looks like, which is majorly inspired by the X-Men line of comics originally introduced by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in X-Men issue number 10, with major ties to someone like Wolverine, which could hint at him possibly landing on the roster. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure we see characters like Khazar and Sauron in the background as Easter eggs, which more than likely, in my opinion, scratches them out of being one of those out of left field playable characters from Marvel Tokon. So the guy that was in my comment section asking for Sauron, I am very sorry. Now let's move on to Ghost Rider, secretly having one of the more interesting passives so far in the game to me with his move kit finally revealed. Ghost Rider has a passive Vengeance gauge that while he uses his skills, they gain more and more power depending on the level. They get extra potent, however, when you keep them in the sweet spot called the Red Zone. But once the gauge gets maxed out, it leaves Ghost Rider highly vulnerable. You are able to manually reduce the cooldown or level of his gauge by hitting Penance Driver, Unique, or Special or Ultimate skills on enemies as well. Overall, this has him play vastly different than anyone else in the character pool revealed so far, and it's probably one of the reasons he wasn't playable in the closed beta, as they probably had to fine-tune his passive immensely. That about wraps up the new build. Now let's get into the stream details for tomorrow. On Saturday 27th at 8:40 p.m. Pacific, 10:40 p.m. Central, or 11:40 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be a Tokyo Game Show stage presentation with the developers, where they will also be having an exhibition match between players Kazunoko and Nemo. I personally believe this presentation will be structured just like what we saw from something like Invincible Versus at EVO earlier this year. How it happened was the developers got on stage where they talked about the game, talked about some developmental processes along with some difficulties they had and hardships they wanted to overcome in production, along with showing off and talking about the new assets they wanted to showcase at EVO. But for this event in particular, it would probably be delving into Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and their gameplay, along with details and some facts about the Savage Lands and why they decided to add it in as a stage. There is a chance, in my opinion, that they could go on and reveal a character or two, since I feel like that is long overdue, but they haven't even officially hinted to it as of yet. As for if there will be any new announcements, it's hard to say, but I'm hopeful they'll give us something to mark our calendars for at least, if they don't outright just reveal a character like maybe Wolverine, since he's pretty well tied to the new stage, and Sony just had that big Wolverine trailer yesterday. Also, for anyone interested, the direct links to the stream for tomorrow will be provided below in the description of this video, and if you want to join in on the hype, I will be co-streaming that live stream and reacting to everything going on live. So make sure to drop by and say hi. Overall, that about wraps up all the new details, but so far, I'm excited to see Marvel Tokon actually seem to be making some real good changes so far, and to see the new characters in action in the new setting being the Savage Land. The combos that I've been seeing have looked amazing, and Ghost Rider and Spider-Man both look like phenomenal characters. But let me know what you guys think about the new gameplay on the characters and the new stage, if you think they'll reveal something new during tomorrow's presentation, and who you would like to see make the launch roster in the comment section down below. For everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. As always, your support through your viewership, liking, and subscribing is always greatly appreciated and helps me out tremendously against the Avengers level threat that is the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Peace!